right, with that, we have time for this week's Zoom. Once again, everybody, welcome. We are looking at about somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, and then I also want to do Q&A at the end. If you're here with us live, definitely get as much value as possible in the time allotted. That's why if you're here with us live, I asked, what is your benefit of your product, service, or opportunity? And just type that into the Q&A. And the reason I do that is because I have some information, but there's always a different spin on a product or a service. And of course, we always have opportunity. And my goal today is for you to have something, at least a framework or a basic icebreaker that you could use. That way, when someone asks about your business or replies, number one, we're not caught off guard, or we're not, sorry, I had to turn off my phone. Or, we don't trip over words. We're just prepared. And it makes life a lot easier when, number one, people are asking what we do, and that's a skill upon itself, but also we have something that feels comfortable. Because if anything's uncomfortable, we can do it for a little bit, and, we can expand our comfort zone and all that other fun stuff, but we won't do it forever. So we want things to just be able to have conversations versus, oh my goodness, what do I say? What's my pitch? And everything else like that. It's all about being natural. That's how people really prefer to have and purchase things, is by sales. So let's get right into it. So the big thing is I want to make sure you at least have some notes at the end of the 20 minutes. So that way you have something you could use or at least work on, practice, perfect. It's all about starting. So the big thing is, we'll just kind of go through these really quick. Obviously, we don't want to be awkward. We've all done something that we've said it and we're like, oh, I should have said things differently. Well, it's all about practicing, and we can go through that as well. We don't want you to be anxious. We want it to be a conversation. And the big thing that we always have to remember every single time is that people actually like to buy. So we're not selling people. Now, nobody likes to be sold. Nobody says, oh my goodness, I got sold on this. And we've all bought like the weird package for our car. When we bought a car, like, oh, did I really need, whatever kind of gas is in the tires? Did I really need, the super wax detail for $2,000? Did I really need this? And sometimes we kind of feel sold, but everybody likes to buy. Like, there's actually kind of a rush when people like to purchase things. Now, what we want to do is we want to make sure it's a win-win. So if we believe in our product, service, or opportunity, I should say, and we know that it could benefit them, and they are happy to purchase because they receive benefit, then it's a win-win. So that's what we really want to do, is have a win-win. And of course, how in the world are we going to bring it up in a conversation or something that is natural, not sales, not forced, not like, oh my goodness, salesperson approaching. No, it's all about, hey, how can I help you? This could be a win-win if this is something you like. So obviously, we want to make sure socially acceptable, all the things that we do. And the big thing is, of course, if people ask what we do for a living or what's your side business, or I heard you started a business, what in the world do we say? So keep on typing into the Q&A if you're with us live, as far as, what is your benefit or your product, service, or opportunity. That way I can give you those icebreakers in addition to the ones that are already here. Now, a lot of these are taken from different books. We have a nutrition book, we have a utilities book, we have the quick start guide, we have the icebreakers book. So I just kind of combine them and give you everything. And also I'll give you some additional resources. Some that are actually two of them are super free. So there we go. So I'm not here to just sell you on something. That's we've all had plenty of webinars on that, and let alone there's a lot of new people. And the reason I do this pretty much like every other month is this is the most requested one, which I love, because that way there's always new people or people that want to refresh their skills. Because unless you have an icebreaker, all the other skills are completely useless. Like, it would be great to have follow-up skills and leadership skills and presentation skills, but if you have nobody to talk to, none of those really matter. So opportunity, when we look at opportunity benefit, instead of, letting people know exactly what it is, like, what's the big picture? Like, what do they really want? And we'll give you the examples. It's all about, the lifestyle, the vacation, or using, word pictures so they can picture. We don't want to be talking about, getting into a business, because there's no shortage of businesses that can get involved in. It's like, what is going to be the benefit for them? And so we look at the basic formula. This could be a basic formula for product, service, or opportunity. Now this is basic. Well, I'll show you an advanced one as well. So you have to, bear with me. Here's the basic one. Here's an advanced one. And of course, we can work on these after the Zoom because I can't talk to everybody individually. But when you say people, I show people how to. That is really what we do. So if someone asks about your business, instead of saying, well, I'm a distributor for XYZ company, we don't really sell, but we share, and it becomes awkward, right? Like the slide earlier. Well, what we really want to do is I show people how to. So you look at, any career. You can look at, doctors. They can say, well, I'm a dermatologist. And you kind of like, okay, I kind of think that's a skin doctor. I'm really not sure. Oh, yeah, I show people how to get clear skin. I show people how to, get rid of their wrinkles. Like, then you kind of see, okay, that's how it works in the real world. But we've been conditioned, especially here in the US, to be like, well, we have to tell them our title and we have to tell them maybe the company that we work for. Well, that doesn't really lead towards a conversation, right? So we want our icebreaker to lead towards a conversation. So if I said, and I'll give you the resource as far as I shared it with my real estate friend, when they say, oh, I'm in real estate. Well, everybody knows what a real estate agent does. Like, it's no secret. It doesn't lead towards a conversation. But my example that I gave to her was I show people how to get their dream home for less than they're paying in rent. Or I show people how to upgrade their existing home for less than their existing mortgage. Or I show people how to upgrade their existing home for less than their existing mortgage. So a lot of times when you put it into action and it leads towards conversation versus I already know what they do. There's no conversation here. There's no curiosity. So I say, I show people how to. This is how it leads towards curiosity. So I'll give you some examples. I'm not going to read them because we have a lot to cover and you can always screenshot this and I'll give you the replay tomorrow morning. So don't worry too much. So let's take the third one here. So instead of saying, what's your business? Well, I'm in a nutritional company, but it's not like Amazon. We have higher quality products, and we have a proprietary blend. We've confused the prospect and say, oh, what's your service? Oh, I show people how to feel like they're 16-year-olds again, but with better judgment. Or I show people how to fall asleep within 7 minutes, their head hitting the pillow. Now, very basic, not that exciting, but it's better than what people normally use. Not everybody, but it's better than saying I'm with a company, I'm a distributor with XYZ. There's so many that we could use. I show people how to have instant energy all day. And we and us, there's different ways of putting it. These are just formulas. So these are basic. We'll go through the advanced ones because these aren't as exciting. Is it better than nothing? Is it better than what we're probably using existing? Well, absolutely. But you can kind of look at weight loss. I show people how to get rid of their muffin top. I show people how to fit into their skinny jeans. Again, it's leading towards conversation. It's not as exciting, but let's go with the advanced one. So we'll kind of go through skincare instead of talking about your secret ingredient or proprietary blend, which can come later after we get their attention. I show people how we can put off wrinkles for the next 20 years. I show people how to look, 20 years younger in only 45 minutes a day. 45 seconds a day, 45 minutes. See, I really want to get to the advanced ones, but you can kind of see where we're developing more of a curiosity approach versus a telling approach. And that's what really people want. People want to have conversations. They don't want to hear pitches, travel. I show people how we can travel wholesale instead of retail. I show people how we can take 5-star holiday or a luxury cruise for the price of a Motel 6. Again, very basic, and I want to definitely get to the Q&A ones as well. But let's get to the advanced one. Of course, we got natural cleaning products. You guys can screenshot this. You can kind of get the gist of what we have. Let's get to the advanced one. Oh my goodness, we have so many on here. I don't know why I did this, but you can screenshot this. You can go through these as well. Okay, so here is the advanced formula. Now, what we want to do is build just a little bit of what we call instant rapport. The instant rapport just means we think the same. I understand you. If I am, let's say, wherever you live, whatever your favorite a sports team is, or the college you went to, or the place you grew up, the city name. If I'm wearing that same, if you like baseball, if I'm wearing the same baseball jersey as you are, you automatically think, wow, I like this person. If I am wearing a shirt with your favorite college, like, or where you went to college, like, oh my goodness, I like this person. That's all rapport is. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what baseball team, if you even like baseball, if you like sports, if you went to college. I don't know any of that information. How in the world can I build instant rapport with somebody? And that's just by using these easy to use words is, well, you know how. Now, when I say, well, you know how, you automatically think, oh, okay, this person's going to give me information that I already know. Why would I do that? So I can let you know that we think the same. So you can screenshot this. You can write down those 4 words. Well, you know how, and let's kind of go back to the nutrition examples. Somebody asks, what do you do for a living? You say, well, you know how we all have a hard time going to sleep every night? Nobody's arguing this information. 9 out of 10 people have a hard time going to sleep. That's just how it is, or they think they have a hard time going to sleep. They've been conditioned to think they have a hard time going to sleep, which just kind of rolls off your tongue. Well, we have a hard time going to sleep. I show people how to fall asleep within 7 minutes or a head touching the pillow. Okay, cool. Or, well, you know how it's getting harder and harder as we age to have more energy? Oh, absolutely. Like nobody says, I have so much energy the older I get, right? Most people, right? So, hey, you know how it's harder and harder as we age to get more energy? I show people how we have more energy than our grandchildren. Assuming they have grandchildren. Or you can talk about their teenagers or their toddlers or their kids. So you can kind of see where this comes in handy. Okay, so you can use it for other ways. Well, you know how it's harder and harder to get rid of excess weight as we age? Well, I show people how to fit into their skinny jeans that are collecting dust in their closet from high school. Like you can kind of see where this builds upon. So let's kind of go to the ones that I didn't talk about. I'm going to talk about financial services. Oh, what exactly is your side business? Well, you know how we're losing money in the bank to inflation? Yeah, well, I show people how to get a better return on their money. I don't think that's on here. I didn't put that one on there. Or that's a bonus one. Okay, well, you know how it's going to get harder and harder with inflation to be able to retire. Oh, I show people how to retire early without having to get a raise. Well, how does that work? So you can kind of see where it leads towards conversation just by using some basic ones. Now, a lot of times I get comments, whether I do this live or on Zoom, even in group settings, people are like, does this really work? Or number one way to find out. Now, does it work the first time you say it? Absolutely, maybe. Why? Because we haven't practiced it. Every time you do something new, it's going to feel awkward. So we have to practice it. Now, some people say, well, I really want to talk about this. I really want to talk about that. I really want to talk about the company. I really want to talk about the product. Great. That's great if they ask. There's so many times where we want to give information that they don't really care about. Let's get their curiosity. Let's get a conversation. Because what happens when you talk about fitting their skinny jeans? Well, what exactly is it? Okay, great. Now we have a conversation. Or how does it work? Or do I have to starve myself? Or is it a powder? Is it a pill? Is it a wrap? Is it a what is it? Okay, great. Now we have a conversation. So that's when we fill them in as far as exactly how to use it, or what to do, or what they need to do. That's what we're all wanting to do, is we want to start a conversation. And I get this so many times. People are like, I really want to talk about this, and I really want to, go for the sale right away. Nobody likes the sale right away. I can't think of one person who goes, man, I can't wait for someone to tell me exactly what I need to do and buy and be pushy. It doesn't work. So let's kind of go through a couple more examples. What to do utilities? Oh, well, you know how someone asked about your business. Well, you know how utility rates are rising pretty much every day with inflation. Oh yeah. Well, I showed people how to. What do we have? How to make money every time our neighbors turn on their lights. Whoops. The bullet points didn't quite work out on this. This happens when I combine a lot of things. It all goes crazy, but you get the idea. Or, we know how cell phone service seems to be really expensive nowadays. Well, I show people how to get 4 lines of service for the price of 2. Great. So you kind of see where it creates a conversation. Do we any more? Okay, so let me give you some. Actually, let's do one more here. We had before I get into that, let me see what we have here. Okay, I actually didn't do opportunity, or they're kind of combined into the slides here. So additional streams of income, someone put in, so we could talk about additional stream of income. We could talk about an extra weekly or extra monthly direct deposit. And it depends on your terminology. Well, you know how we all could use an extra $500. Well, you know how we all use an extra $1,000, or we know how we all can use just a little bit of extra money. Well, you know how we're not going to get a raise. Well, you know how it's harder to get some extra hours at our job. We know how it's hard to get overtime. You can kind of depends on who you're talking to. Now, what that does, of course, we created that before. I show people how to create an additional stream of income. I show people how to create an additional direct deposit without an extra job. I show people how to create extra income without having to leave their house. I show people how to be able to create an extra income by just using their phone, which they're doing already. Like everyone has like my phone was going off. So everyone has some sort of device. At least they know where it is, or most people. Okay, so we have a more energy balanced guy. I think there's probably some energy examples. Oh yeah, there was energy examples, but let's kind of go through these. So you have, so here's an interesting one. So someone typed in more energy and balanced gut. So a lot of times when you have a balanced gut, you have more energy. Now, it's hard to sell gut health. And by the way, I sold nutrition products for over 20 years. So I kind of know that it's harder to talk about being proactive in your nutrition. It's all about, okay, if I take this and I see the results, what's my life going to be like? And you sell the result. No one really cares. Like, look at a car. I have no idea how a car works. I know there's gas, spark plugs, air, combustion, it goes through transmission. Like, I kind of understand, but there's so many different nuances. But I know when I turn the key in my car, or I hit the start button in my wife's car, I know that magic happens and I can go from A to Z safely with a bunch of really cool things on it, right? That's cool. So people really want to know is like, what is the end result? That's what people really want. So instead of talking about the gut health, of course, a lot of people, actually, there's a couple of them on here that are very similar. It's all about more energy. So we all want to sell the more energy. And when people say, well, actually how that work is, well, what's really holding you down is because you have a bunch of gut issues, or, you can kind of talk about, depends on your product as well. So let's see here. We have, okay. Someone had improved the indoor air quality. So I'm not sure if it's a filter, ionizer, ozone. Like, there's so many different options. But again, what do people want? They want the end result. So, well, you know how, and everybody is leaning forward, or everyone's saying, oh, this person's going to give me information that I already know. Well, you know how we all have outgassing, or we all have a lingering odors from pets, kids, cooking. You kind of create your own formula there. It kind of depends on them. Oh, well, I show people how to get rid of that and not have to worry about about what it's doing to their health. So, well, you know how everybody has lingering odors from cooking in their house. I show people how to improve their air quality by, or I just messed that up, didn't I? I show people how to get rid of their lingering odors and improve their air quality, so they don't have to worry about breathing toxic air. So, like, you can kind of limit it out. I'm trying to get through a lot of these as quickly as possible here. Okay, so we have a lot more people that did a lot of energy. So I can see where they're not talking about their body, they're talking about getting more energy, which is really cool. All right, so let's get into a couple of more other questions. If you have any other questions, let me give you some free resources as well. I have a little bit more icebreaker content on episode 2. So if you go to our website, you can stream it. You can go to any podcast platform, and it's episode 2, where we can probably just type in the Networker Zone podcast and icebreakers. That'll probably pull up. Or you can go to the site, scroll all the way to the bottom, and it's episode 2. Episode 1 was a trailer, and it kind of messed up my episode numbers, but it's the first one. All right. The second one is, a lot of people always ask, where do you get this information? There's the utility book, the nutrition book, there's a quick start guide. The best bang for your buck is to get it all on audio, assuming you like audios. If you don't like audios, don't get the audios, get the paperback, ebooks, etc. Pretty much how it works out is we give you all the core skills, the 2-minute story and the 1-minute presentation. It just kind of depends your personal preference, what you prefer. So we kind of give you the 5 core skill books on audio. Those are only $6, and we give those for $29.95. Hey, save 5 cents. But we kind of give you the 1-minute presentation live workshop, which is a $20 value. And of course, we give you the how to use the 4 core skills, $10 value. It's like $60. We give it to her for $29.95. If you like audios, and if you don't like audios, you can have the other platforms. And if you just want to listen to the podcast, whatever works best for you. So I'm just giving this people as an option. And of course, we do master classes. We do those every Wednesday. But if you want to do any sort of coaching, I really do not advertise coaching. You cannot go to our website and get coaching. It's only done via email, because I want to make sure that is this really something you really need to do, or can I lead you to another direction? Can I lead you towards learning the skill first, and then we can kind of get to a coaching session? But you can do enter to win, and I'm giving out a free coaching session. I believe it's the first week of July is the deadline. Probably just go to that website, and I'll give you these resources as well. So any questions, feel free to type those in. I have a couple more minutes. And, oh yes, the website is bailbooks.com/core skills. So if you want to get the audio package, cool. If not, you want to just get some books. If you want to just listen to it via the podcast. If you want, there's actually a lot of different skills on the podcast. I think we're up to 130 episodes, maybe. I have no idea. Okay. Let's see. Any questions? Someone asked, after this depth of the core skills, what do you want to learn next? It's what should I learn next? It's whatever you want to learn next. So most of the time after the core skills, people want to do follow-up, because I can guarantee you everybody has somebody that they didn't know what to say next. We know that 90% of the people don't join the very first time. We obviously need to follow up. How in the world are we going to do that? Or what are we going to say? Or, worst case, we call them and say, I'm just here calling to follow up. That's not going to get you a good result. It's going to get a better result than doing absolutely nothing. But what else can we do? And there's a follow-up episode there on the podcast. And of course, we also have the audio books there as well. Okay. To my knowledge, someone asked for the core skills, is there a package on the books? To my knowledge, there is not. So just the audios, because we can control that. I wish I can control things on the bigger platforms. I cannot, but the audios we can control. It's just the way they do things. Audios on most platforms has to be book, not a live audio, can't include things. So we just took over at least the audios, or you can still get them on all the platforms, but if you get them from us, then we can kind of give you more bonuses. I know it's just one of those, they're a big platform. They can do whatever they want, and I'm happy they accept us at least for the books. So that's good. What do you tell a prospect who keeps insisting they must tell them what the business is all about? Well, that's actually what I consider a good problem. So people say, well, how does it work? What's it all about? Can you give me information right away? And so I think there's an episode as far as a short story, and I like to, kind of let people get the short version as well. So do you want the short version or long version? Everyone wants a short version. So I always say, here's a short story. I don't want to say, do you want the long story or the short story? Here's the short story. Like, okay, cool. What do we do? We've caught their attention. They're like, well, it's not going to be a long presentation. They're not going to ask me for a 45-minute block of time, because I don't want to waste their time if they're not interested, and I don't want to waste my time. So a lot of times, first of all, we have to look at the psychology. They drop their icebreaker. They want to know more. A lot of times it's, I need to know more before I invest my mental capacity. So if you look at the core skills, it's always icebreaker and rapport are right at the very beginning. It's technically rapport first. But if they want a presentation, they've already mentally committed to say yes. They just need to know the details. So our job is to actually get them to say yes. That's what pre-closing is all about. So here's one option. Here's a short story. You're not going to get a raise, or we're not going to get a raise in the next couple of years. We need to find a way to, to supplement income. Okay, what exactly is it all about? Okay, well, this is what we do. And you tell people what they do. They don't need a 45-minute presentation. You can use the 1-minute presentation or the 2-minute story, and that's when you're going to get their best results. So pre-close them a little bit at first, 1-minute presentation, 2-minute story, and that is definitely the way to go. Because people don't want to know all the details. It's the craziest thing. We think, oh my goodness, my compensation plan, it's never been done before. It's crazy. Most people don't care. And it's crazy for me to think about that as a green personality. But most people are like, what do I need to do? Okay, if I need to make $1,000 a month, what exactly do I need to do? Okay, I can do that. Or, it seems hard. Time is not right for me. They can do all those things. Okay, what's the book on follow-up? It is, I call it the follow book, but that is not what it's called. How to follow up with your network marketing prospects, I believe. You can also type in to any podcast platform, Keith Schreiter follow-up, Networker Zone follow-up. They'll kind of give you a preview and it'll kind of give you the resources as well. Or just go to our websites as well. Okay, cool. What else do we have? Okay, so I did not really talk about that. Kind of glazed over that. The coaching, probably should have put that on there. Did not. But so what we do is I give people a 30-minute Zoom. Again, I'm giving this away. I'm not going to sell you on it. 30 minutes. I say, well, what skill or mindset block would you like to work on? Okay, cool. Great. Give me a little bit more about it. What have you learned so far, if any? So I have a mindset block. Haven't really read a mindset book. Cool. That's fine. At least I kind of know where your starting block is. And the thing that I like to do, and I encourage this, whether you win the coaching package, which is only one person, whether you decide to do coaching, which I prefer that you email me, you have a choice to make sure, like maybe there's something else that you'd rather do first. I like to do win-win. And the most important part, whether you're working with somebody new, whether you're working with a leader, whether you're working with a brand new distributor, is an accountability follow-up. So what I do is say, let's say they want to work on follow-up. Okay, cool. How many prospects do you have? Hey, can you send 3 to 5 messages a day? Okay, cool. I can do 5. Okay, cool. Let's do 5. Let's do 3 as the start, 5 as cool, but let's do 3 minimum. Okay, you want to do it 6 days a week or 5 days a week? Or you want to do it 7 days a week? Whatever. Okay, cool. I want to do 3 prospects for 5 days a week. Okay, cool. So for 2 weeks, that's 30 prospects, 15 each week. That's more than 0. Cool, great, awesome. Tell you what, I don't want you to do 30 right away. You're going to get burned out. That's not where consistency happens. Do 3 every single day and then email me. And just by using the accountability, now, that doesn't mean they're perfect. I'm not perfect. There's days that I miss things that I need to do. Nobody's perfect. But just by saying that they're accountable and they have to email me, say, you know what? Life got in the way. I got 0 today. Cool. Hey, you know what? I got excited. I did 6 today. Just by the act of having to be accountable increases your success odds like exponentially. It is crazy. You can look at the research or you can just do things on a regular basis. So we do accountability for 2 weeks. And that if you do anything besides getting an icebreaker out of this, is to have something that you're accountable for. Have an accountability partner. Well, it could be your upline, it could be your spouse, it could be anybody. It's all about having just something every single day. That was probably a huge tangent. Okay. Let's see here. I'll take one more. yeah, you go to the masterclass. That's really not a question. So I'll give you, but someone asked about the masterclass. That's the slide. It's $39 a month. We do 4 classes. One week out of the month, one out of the 4 classes, we actually do a Ask Us Anything type of coaching questions, whether it's live or in person. That is the link. Let's see here. Let's do one more. Okay. Someone asked, kind of put in this direction here, as far as, for brand new, what do you suggest people do? One option is to get the audiobook pack. It's $30, $29.95, whatever. That is, if you like audios, I like audios. I like a lot of podcasts, things like that, because I can do other things, minute things. I could be working out. I could be doing the dishes. I could be sweeping the pool. I could be doing other activities. Now, the downside is sometimes we're not completely 100% focused. So whether it's audios, whether it's books, whether it's or online classes, whatever you decide to do, the biggest thing is to write down how you can use that information. Like, okay, I'm going to be listening to the icebreaker audio. Okay, great. My goal is to have an icebreaker before I go to the next subject. That way you take some. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to use it because you're like, let me listen to that again, or let me change it up, but at least have a starting block. So I always I always prefer people write down, type it in. I use Google Docs, whatever works best as to what you're going to put into action. That way, you can, now I listen and read books multiple times. There's a science behind it. And I think I talked to Earl Watt about this. That was probably the most recent one. You can listen to a podcast episode on that. And I'm way over time, by the way. But the big thing is, no matter what you plan on learning next, is definitely write things down as far as what you can put into action. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, everybody. I know I went over time, but I will send out the recording link as well as all of the resources, including the podcast resource, the coaching giveaway, you name it, and look forward to connecting with everybody in the masterclass tomorrow or an upcoming Zoom or on the Network Marketing Questions Facebook group page. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks again.